Hi, my name's Emma Katirai, and I'm a systems strategist. And in today's video, I'm going to show you how to build onboarding workflows in Dubsado. So the difference with onboarding workflows and other workflows that I've shown you in the past, like an inquiry workflow or a booking workflow, is that this one can really be different depending on your industry and the services you offer or your personal preference. So in this video, what I'm going to show you are different actions that you can take versus showing you a specific workflow. Okay, so let's get started. So some of the actions that you can take in an onboarding workflow are sending out questionnaires, schedulers, or welcome emails to your new clients. So the assumption at this point is that they have paid, they have signed their contract, and they're just ready to start onboarding onto the service that they've signed up for. So one of the things that you can do if you're giving your clients access to a client portal is use the workflow to activate their portal, right? So one of the actions here is activate portal. So that's pretty straightforward. And what you need to know is that this gives them access with the predetermined login, which is their email. If you want to set specific passwords for them, then you have to do that manually. Another thing that you can do is send a welcome email. So basically it's send email. If that welcome email is going to send them a link to a scheduler or a form, remember that in that case, if you're sending a scheduler, for instance, it would be send appointment scheduler. It can still be a welcome email. It just has a link for them to book their initial call. So let's say it's an onboarding call, and let's go here. Okay, so you're asking them to book their call, to check out their client portal. It's giving them all their information to log in. Okay, you can also use the workflow to update their status as they move along different phases of the project. So let's say at this point, it's change project status to onboarding. Okay, actually, I would put that here at the top. Then let's say once they book their call, you want to send them a questionnaire. So that's another thing that you can do. So you can use the onboarding workflow, like I said, to send schedulers or send questionnaires. You cannot send both of them in one step. So what you can do is once the call has been booked, send out the questionnaire, or once the questionnaire has been completed, send out the link to book the call. So in this case, I'm sending them their scheduler first. So once their call is booked, then I'm going to send them their form. So that would be send form. Always remember, it's not send email. I've made this mistake myself. It's always send form or send appointment scheduler, even though you're sending it through an email. So let's find the form that we want to send. Let's call it this one. And one thing to point out is before you build your workflow in Dubsado, the important thing is to map out your process, right? So you have an idea of what you want to take your clients through, write it down, and then look at what you need to build. In this case, I've written a number of emails. They're sitting in my account. I have created a questionnaire. I have set up a scheduler. All of these things need to be done before you build the workflow, or else you're just going to be going back and forth, ping-ponging between different screens in Dubsado, which can be a bit frustrating. So when you write it all down, I always recommend just grab a Google Doc and just write it out. And then you can see, I need to write 8 different emails. I need to create one questionnaire. I need to build one scheduler. And then once all that's done, then you just come in here and quickly put together your workflow. So in this case, I am looking for a send an intake questionnaire. So instead of saying after all previous actions completed, it's after appointment is scheduled. And so in this case, you're looking for the onboarding call. It knows that the only scheduler that is attached to this workflow at that point is onboarding call. If you have attached multiple, like if you're using multiple, you will see that there are more than just one in the drop-down menu. Same goes for forms. Okay, so you send them their intake questionnaire, and maybe you want to send them a reminder. Okay, so maybe send form, let's say 5 days later, after form is not completed and it's looking for the intake questionnaire, and you're going to send them the intake questionnaire again. So it's a bit confusing, but after the intake questionnaire form is not completed, send them the intake questionnaire form again. And then you look for a reminder email here. There you go. So let's say one of the things that happens is that the project status changes once their call is completed. So let's say change project status after appointment has ended, and now you're going into like delivery. After the call is completed, what you also want to do is send your client an email with the next steps of that conversation that you've had. Like you go into a lot of specifics during your onboarding call, and you want to be sure that you map that out, okay? And you lay out what are the next steps for your client, because maybe there are actions that they need to take. So in order to do that, because you need to personalize that email, and this can go for any email in your workflow, you're going to trigger a to-do. Create a to-do, and you're going to say after the appointment has ended, and here you're going to type out what you need to do. One of the things that's important in to-dos is that you use something to help you understand which project you're talking about. I've made this mistake myself where it's like edit email for project or something, and I didn't put the client name or the project title or whatever it is. And so I'm like left wondering. And so especially if your business has a lot of clients, if you're working with a lot of people at once, it can be pretty confusing. So you can send yourself an email reminder. I usually highlight one part of it so that I quickly understand what it is about. So when this workflow is applied to the project, this is going to trigger, and it's just waiting for you to go into the next step of the workflow, click edit the email, click apply, and then when you're done, you check off the little box and it'll send out to the client with the changes that you've made. So one of the other things that you can do is send emails like 1 week before their project starts. So you can do 7 days before project start dates. And so this will send out at the right time. And maybe this, now that I look at it, you can actually change this to go 0 days after project start date. That makes more sense. And then you move this down here. And then once your project is done, maybe what you can do is trigger to send out a gift to your client, something like that. So again, you can trigger to do, and then after project end date, let's say, or maybe you do it like 1 week after. Again, use smart fields to identify, as simple as that, right? And then what you can do is if you have an offboarding workflow, you can also have that trigger off of the onboarding workflow. So what I mean is like the offboarding workflow is where you say thank you, where you send out feedback forms or feedback requests, Google review requests, that kind of thing. And all you would do here is start a workflow, and you would say after project end dates, and let's call it offboarding workflow. So this client gift thing, this task might also be in your offboarding workflow. Let's assume it's not. I would put this here after project end date and then send the client the gift. Some people actually might do it as soon as the client signs up. So this might be at the very top of your workflow. Like I said, the issue with onboarding workflows and creating this video is that it's so unique and it's so different depending on industry, which is different from the booking workflow. The vast majority of people are using Dubsado to send out proposals, contracts, and invoices and doing follow-ups and things like that. I worked with a lot of different industries, and that booking workflow is vastly similar between all industries. But in this case, it's not. This can take so many different shapes and forms. So what I want you to understand is the type of actions that you can take inside of a workflow versus trying to create a specific workflow for you. Other things that you can do that I haven't mentioned, like in this welcome email, the one that's sending out the scheduler in this case, you can also send out like a welcome packet. You can attach a PDF. You can put a button in here. So you would basically go in here, add a button. I won't put the URL and call it a welcome guide. Have it open in a new tab and insert it there. So if you have a PDF that you're sending out, I think that works really well. PDF can be on your website. It can be hosted in a Google Drive, whatever you want. I have a video about welcome guides. You can attach that in one of your emails. Other things that you can do is put a to-do to check that they have booked their call, because Dubsado still does not have the function of if call not booked. They have the function of if form not completed, but not the if call not booked. So if Dubsado, if you're listening, please, we need that soon. So you can trigger a to-do that says basically a check if has booked their onboarding call. If not, that's the best that we can do right now. So I can put that over here. So let's say 2 days. Like if you want them to take action quickly, it's completely up to you, right? That is going to basically pop up 2 days after this email has been sent out with a link to their onboarding call. If they haven't booked, you would manually go into the projects, into their appointments, look at that appointment scheduler that's sitting there that's pending, and click send and use the reminder email, whatever email you've drafted in your canned emails, that basically has the scheduler link in it, but is like, seems like you haven't booked your call, just wanted to remind you, we can't really get started until, you book this call, that kind of thing, right? So these are the types of actions that I've seen a lot of people use across different industries. There isn't one way to do this. Like I said, you can send a questionnaire first and then a call. Maybe you don't have a call and you just want to send out a questionnaire. There is no right or wrong. You get to choose what works best for you. But like I said, I just wanted you to see the types of actions that you can take inside of an onboarding workflow in Dubsado. You can send out more form reminders if you want at other dates farther out. You can also tie things to like the second payment. Like if you're taking payment in installments, you can tie things to that as well. Like not send out the offboarding call scheduler until the second installment has been paid. Things like that. You get to choose, you get to decide. I just use some of these actions that I've shown you and just create something that works for you. As always, test it out. Create a test client, apply this workflow to that test client. And it's sending from my business email, so I test it out on my personal email. So you just test things out and see what happens, and you can make tweaks from there. So I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you guys next time.